All right, man, peace. So, NBA Hall of Famer Charles Barkley has had his share of run-ins with Mr. LeBron James, mostly due to the fact that Charles is going to speak his mind whether he's right or wrong. Well, he's now chosen to speak his mind again in reference to LeBron James and the allegation that he may end up with the Philadelphia 76ers, who also happen to be the team that drafted Charles Barkley, and he played for them from the 1984-85 season all the way up until the end of the 91-92 season. So Charles still has a lot of ties in Philadelphia, and he'll oftentimes make appearances on the sports talk radio shows in that area. Well, he basically stated that acquiring LeBron James would be a bad move for the Philadelphia 76ers because LeBron James' style of play does not mesh with the current crop of young stars that the Philadelphia 76ers are trying to build up, that being Mr. Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. So, of course, they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
Well, they're not going to get LeBron, number one. He won't fit in with Embiid and Simmons.
Agreed. LeBron James' style of play will not fit in with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Why is that? Because I don't believe that in his 16th year, LeBron James is all of a sudden going to become an off-the-ball player. He's not going to be someone running along the baseline trying to get open so that he can hit jump shots off the catch. That's just not his game. LeBron is an alpha by nature, and he feels an incessant need to dominate.
He won't fit in because he needs the ball, Simmons needs the ball, and Embiid.
Absolutely. And when I say that LeBron has an incessant need to dominate, not just the game, but the basketball.
He needs the ball. You know, you can't have a guy who's going to dominate the ball. That would make Simmons, who's going to be a stud, I think. He'd be useless. The same thing with Joel Embiid.
I think that whether or not Ben Simmons is going to be a superstar, that case is still open right now. That case is not closed yet. I need to see how much work Ben Simmons has put into his jump shot. That's going to make a major difference in how astronomical his leap is going to be from last year to this year.
He's not going to give the ball up at this stage of his career. He's not a great shooter. So you can't point.
Well, LeBron is not a great shooter off the catch. Most of the time when LeBron shoots well, it's off the dribble. Even when he catches the basketball, he likes to take at least one or two dribbles before he pulls up. That's how he gets his rhythm.
Play him off the ball. He's not going to
pretty good shooter in this year's playoffs.
Oh, dude, listen, I guarantee you guys will be love let him shoot threes all night.
I agree with that. If it means that LeBron James is going to have the basketball in his hands less, the vast majority of the teams that are still intimidated by LeBron would love to see him shooting off the catch, as opposed to orchestrating the offense, dominating the basketball, running the LeBron James system, and taking it to the rack. Please keep in mind that even though I talk about how LeBron James has lost esteem in the NBA, that's only with the great teams. The mediocre to sub-average teams, they still look at him in awe, and they would much rather have to worry about Ben Simmons running the point with LeBron James on the wing than LeBron James coming at them full speed dribbling the basketball.
But it would hurt Embiid and Simmons going forward in their growth.
I agree. I think that it would retard their progress.
The Chuckster keeping it real, fellas, as he always does, saying there is 0% chance LeBron signs with Philly. But Stephen A., tell me what Barkley's really saying here.
Well, if you just stated that Charles Barkley was keeping it real, why would you ask Stephen A. Smith what Charles Barkley's really saying? Seems like sort of a redundant question.
Well, he's saying exactly what he's saying, that it's not a good fit for LeBron and the Philadelphia 76ers. He doesn't know what LeBron's going to do. None of us do. Obviously, LeBron could do what he wants to do. And
that's not quite true, Stephen A. Smith. I believe that LeBron James has an idea of what he'd like to do. I believe that he and his team are currently brainstorming on whether or not the Kawhi Leonard situation in LA is going to make it more feasible for him to go there. To be quite frank with you, it would not surprise me if LeBron James has had a hand in informing Kawhi Leonard and his team that they should request a trade from the San Antonio Spurs to the LA Lakers. And once that trade has been accomplished, expect LeBron James and Paul George to sign with the LA Lakers expeditiously. Once again, it would not surprise me at all if LeBron James's team has been in contact with Kawhi Leonard's team and asked them where their minds were at collectively and if they would consider requesting a trade to the LA Lakers. And once that trade has been fulfilled / accomplished, LeBron James would sign with the LA Lakers as would Paul George immediately. So I think that that's plan A for him right now. If the Kawhi Leonard potential trade to the Lakers, does not go through, then LeBron is going to have to investigate some other options. But I have no doubt that LA is plan A. Plan A, B, C, and D. Everything else is plans E on down.
And Philadelphia would love to have him. But the basketball analysis that Barkley dropped is spot on.
And let me say this once again. The reason why I state that I don't believe that LeBron James can do whatever he wants is because no person on the earth really can do whatever they want. We're all restricted by our options. So LeBron is going to investigate his options. He wants to make sure that he exhausts everything before he makes this commitment, because for all intents and purposes, this contract that he's going to sign is most likely going to be his last contract that he will sign as the best player in the NBA. This contract will most likely be the last contract that he will sign with realistic expectations to win championships. So this is make or break for LeBron right now.
LeBron wants the ball, needs the ball, and at this stage of his career isn't about to give up the ball.
Agreed.
Ball. When you take that into account, along with the liability that Ben Simmons would be off the ball because he can't shoot at all, it's not the ideal match. Regardless of how great Ben Simmons is, like I said, he's a decent jump shot away of becoming the second coming of LeBron James. It's that simple. He's that gifted. But Ben Simmons does not shoot the basketball. He's attempted 11 three-pointers the entire year. He didn't make one of them. He drives to the basket, obviously with ease, exceptional ball handling, and a high basketball IQ. But if it ain't 10 feet or in, he ain't thinking about shooting the ball, which
I actually believe that Ben Simmons does a better job of getting his teammates involved than LeBron James has ever done, to be quite frank with you. I think that Ben Simmons' passing is far more honest and sincere, if that makes sense, from the standpoint that he's not looking to get credit. He's just trying to make sure that his teammates are being put in the best positions to score and help the team. LeBron tends to pass more to just pile up assist numbers.
Which means he needs the ball to be effective, which means LeBron would have to be off the ball, and that is not how LeBron James plays. So I think from a basketball analysis, Charles Barkley is spot on in terms of what should happen, but he nor any of us know what will happen.
Sure, he's right about that, but I think the bigger picture is LeBron makes any team better. You know,
Sir, once again, you cannot lead all of your statements with hypotheticals. You actually have to have some empirical data to back up most of your sentiments. Once again, Max Kellerman, being the super fan that he is, likes to lead most of his statements pertaining to LeBron James with hypothetical superlatives. What exactly do you mean when you state that LeBron James makes every team that he's on, quote unquote, better? He's supposed to be a superstar. He's supposed to be the best player of all time. One would think that you would say that LeBron makes any team that he's added to a championship contender and a favorite to win the championship. That's what you're supposed to say. To say that LeBron James makes every team that he's added onto better, one would think that that should not even have to be mentioned, unless he's not quite as good as you're alleging that he is from an all-time perspective. If LeBron James were to go to the Philadelphia 76ers, a team that went out in 5 games in the Eastern Conference semifinals last year, one would think that they should be the favorites to get to the finals and challenge whoever they meet. That's what one would think, because he would no longer have the excuse that he has no help. That's a team that won 50-plus games without him. So if he were to be added to that squad, they should be the favorites to win the championship. And when I say they should be the favorites to win the championship, I'm talking about amongst LeBron James's fans scattered throughout the liberal sports media. What are you going to say? Well, Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons and Mario Saric and Markelle Fultz and J.J. Redick and all these other guys, Ben Simmons, they're not adequate help? They won 50-plus games without him. So you're not going to have the diversionary tactic of, well, if you take LeBron off the Cavaliers, that team doesn't make the playoffs. We've already seen Philadelphia make the playoffs. So it's not enough to say that LeBron will just make them better. He's supposed to make them a champion.
Draft Jordan, play him at center. Get LeBron, figure out the rest later. He'll make you better than anyone else will make you, and you'll always be better with him than without him. This is what I think Barkley's really saying, Stephen A., and I take it personal. Because I'm talking about not just those comments, but also when Barkley's like, I'm not letting LeBron James hijack my life. Yeah, because Charles Barkley doesn't have to be on TV every day. Chuck, you've been making money since '83. Charles Barkley was drafted in '83.
No, sir. Charles Barkley was drafted in 1984.
Stephen A. Smith, in 1983, the Berlin Wall was still almost a decade away from falling, or more than half a decade away from falling. Ronald Reagan was president. There was there was no real such thing as the internet. Maybe 0.0001%.
I wasn't even born yet.
Of the population was even online of planet Earth. That was so long ago. And do you know how much money he made? He started his career in 1983. I was 10 years old. He made $43 million. Back then, $43 million by the time he retired. And he retired almost 20 years ago. And he's the biggest star on TV practically.
Nothing that this amphetamine-addicted fool is saying, allegedly amphetamine-addicted, has anything to do with what Charles Barkley stated. He clearly has nothing to add. Stephen A. Smith, cut in on this idiot, please.
This dude does not have to be on TV every day to pay his bills. Chuck, like I do. And if you did have to be on TV every day to pay your bills, believe me, you'd let LeBron James hijack your life.
I just don't know what that has to do with the subject.
Thank you, Stephen A. Smith. Good question, sir. Thank you for cutting in.
I'm not following.
He said one of the things he said is he's not going to let LeBron James hijack his life. If you have to be on TV every day, you are talking about LeBron James almost every day. Every word you utter about him makes money for you and your employers because the fans want to hear about it. Now,
well, look, here's the issue with LeBron James. Max Kellerman is actually tacitly confirming a sentiment that oftentimes is broached on my channel from some of my subscribers who happen to be ardent LeBron James supporters or fans or what have you, where they'll state, well, why do you make so many videos about LeBron James? It's not that I make so many videos about LeBron James, it's that in the process of covering many of these debate shows, they tend to gravitate towards LeBron James because he likes to make himself the center of attention through a lot of his theatrical tactics and what have you. He will incessantly try to make himself the center of attention. But one has to ask the question, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Is LeBron James covered because he's just so exciting? Or does LeBron James do theatrical things to make sure that he gets covered? As you can tell by the look on Stephen A. Smith's face, he disagrees with Max Kellerman. He believes that he can create an exciting show with a lot of different subjects without a LeBron James, but LeBron James just likes to inject himself into the proverbial conscience of the sports world. I tend to side more with Stephen A. Smith. Once again, I make videos about whatever the topics are pertaining to on these shows. I don't look for LeBron James topics. It is what it is. LeBron is always going to be the talk of the town until he retires because of his incessant need to garner attention for himself, his style of play, and the fact that the liberal sports media is infatuated with him. And also, he has corporate sponsors that want to make sure that his name is always on the tips of everyone's tongues. And also, he has corporate sponsors that want to make sure that his name is on the tips of everyone's tongues.
Now, a lot of people are like, Barkley is salty about LeBron going at him sometimes. He doesn't want him to go to the Sixers. I agree with you. I think his basketball analysis is on the money. I think the bigger picture is it doesn't matter. LeBron will make anyone better. But I think the biggest picture is...
Max Kellerman, once again, at 33 years old, it's not about whether or not LeBron James can make you better. Steph Curry can go to any team in the National Basketball Association and make them better. You claim that LeBron James is the second greatest player of all time. So he should be able to go to the Philadelphia 76ers if what you say about him is true and turn them into a champion in one season. That's what he should be able to do. Because allegedly, he did not have the supporting cast / the troops to get the job done in Cleveland last year, but he was able to get them to the finals. So you mean to tell me that with two all-stars in Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, he should not be the favorite to win the NBA championship? I have a hard time believing that based off of what stupid fans like yourself state on television every day about LeBron James' greatness. It's not making sense.
There is Barkley don't have to worry about all this stuff every day. The rest of us do talk in sports media. And LeBron doesn't hijack Barkley's life, but, I'm happy for him hijacking mine. He's good for business.
Well, I actually don't think we have to talk about him every day personally.
I agree with you, Stephen A. Smith.
I think we find ourselves doing that because he is an elite player. The Cavaliers got on a successful playoff run, and obviously he positions himself to be talked about because he's a free agent.
And also, he's extremely sensitive, emotional, and theatrical.
If we knew that LeBron James was going to stay in the city past 1 year, I think we would talk about him considerably less. I certainly don't plan on talking about him much once the football season begins, and then it depends on where he goes.
Believe me, Stephen A. Smith, if LeBron James lands with the LA Lakers in tandem with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, you're going to be talking about him all the way from now until NBA tip-off. I have no doubt about that.
Because if he stays in Cleveland, I don't want to talk about him. If he goes to a team like OKC, I don't want to talk about him. Well, again, we will because we have bosses. But in the end, let me be very, very clear. The day that I get to stop talking about LeBron James, I'd actually be happy about it.
Max,
Well,
I think...
Stephen A. Smith, sounds like you have a personal issue with LeBron James and his team.
I think you're a little wrong though, because you're saying, oh, Barkley's have to be on TV every day. He lives there in the off season. He's gonna have to talk about the guy even more every day. Goes to the grocery store, walks down the street.
If he goes to
Philly. Exactly.
Right.
If he went to Philly,
That's part of it. Yeah.
So that's
that's why he doesn't want it.
it's not like he's immune to it.
There.
But I
Look,
think he
the bottom
also
line
genuinely believes it hurts Ben Simmons' production as well too.
As do I. How could you not believe that if you understand the game of basketball? Ben Simmons cannot shoot. So when LeBron James comes onto that team, should he sign there, LeBron is automatically going to start to dominate the basketball. There's no way that Brett Brown is going to tell LeBron James, okay, Bron, run the wing. Ben is going to bring the ball up and kick it out to you. That's just not going to happen. But I don't think that we have to worry about that because I doubt that LeBron James will be signing there anyway. But once again, with him, you never know.
LeBron James is the star of the sports world. I'm not talking soccer. I mean American sports, the biggest sports in America, team sports, the traditional American.
I would agree with that for the most part in regards to American sports, that LeBron James is probably the biggest name in American sports, even though Floyd Money Mayweather could probably give him a run for his money and certainly generates more revenue on a yearly basis than LeBron James. But yes, I would say in regards to notoriety, name recognition, I would give LeBron a slight edge over Floyd Mayweather, yes.
American.
And plus, Floyd, for all intents and purposes, is retired.
American team sports. He's the number one guy. The story's about him. Of course, we're going to cover it.
All right.
You're right.
See. LeBron sweepstakes.
No. Max is right. Max is right. Max is right about that.
All right. Glad you guys agree.
But anyway, that's it on this issue pertaining to Charles Barkley's assertions, his opinion, his perspective on whether or not LeBron James should or should not join the Philadelphia 76ers. Peace.